In this series, we're going to explain what a fix is, what a course line is, how to take a fix, various methods of taking a fix, how to use an estimated position, and dead reckoning, or determining where you'll be in a little while or where you are when you can't take a fix. We'll determine our set and drift from tide, wind, and currents, and how to utilize that to stay on course. We'll put everything together in the end and do an example Gulf Stream crossing from Florida to the Bahamas. Let's get started. Part 1. Plotting basics. The first thing we need to learn about is a fix. A fix is an actual known position derived from measuring in relation to external reference points. We need to figure out where we are by finding out where we are in reference to something else. So a fix is normally established by utilizing electronics such as GPS, taking bearings on known objects, radio towers, buildings, navigational beacons, using transits where there's two navigational markers that line up, using radar, taking a radar fix, and doing something called a running fix, which we'll talk about later. A fix is normally done by finding your latitude and longitude, marking the point where those two cross, drawing a circle around it, writing in the time, your ship's speed, your ship's heading, and I personally tend to write in the latitude and longitude right there, just so it's handy reference. If you take a GPS fix or an electronic fix specifically, you'd write G-fix next to it so you know you took it using GPS, because GPS on occasion can be wrong. You can also estimate your position. So you have some information but it's not complete or it's not completely accurate, but you estimate your position is here, and you do that drawing a square. And that's solely based on your speed, your heading, and your last known fix. So if you know you're going straight east, and you're going 5 knots, and it's been an hour, you could say, I probably am right about here since it's an hour away and that's 5 nautical miles away. And then a radar fix, because radar isn't necessarily perfect, you would make a circle without the crosshatches. In order to plot a fix by bearing, we need to take two items that we can find the bearings of, radio towers, buildings, anything we can specifically denote on the chart. Take a magnetic bearing with a handheld compass, binoculars that have a compass on them, or using your ship's binnacle compass. We can also take bearings using radar, off the radar, and get these two bearings, and we get those magnetic, cross-reference that position, draw a circle around it, and again, time, speed, heading, lat, and longitude, and that's plotting a fix by bearing. Lines on a plot are normally one of three: course or heading lines, construction lines, or lines of position. Lines can be determined by your actual or estimated heading or course, taking bearings on known objects, using transits, using radar for a radar fix, planning a course or heading, or be a construction line or range line used to establish a course line. Once we know where we are, we're going to want to plot where we think we're going to go to, or where we want to go to, and that's dead reckoning. I reckon I'm going to be here in a few minutes, or in a few days. It's used to estimate your position or your future position. So normally you draw a DR as a half circle with a dot and the time that you think you're going to be there, or the time that you think you are there. If you haven't taken a hard fix, you can say, I believe right now I should be right about here, and you can plot that on the chart, and later on when you get to your next hard fix you can determine if that was accurate. So remember, when plotting, true for all heading and courses, magnetic for bearings, 3 numbers for bearings because it goes from 0 to 360. Denote bearings and direction type, true or magnetic, so put a T or an M next to those. When documenting longitude, use 3 numbers for degrees, 0, 0, 0, because longitude goes from 0, 0, 0 to 180, east or west. Use latitude lines with 2 because we go from 0, 0 to 90 north or south. Construction lines when required to assist in developing a course. Use the proper fix and position symbols. Use speed to the nearest tenth of a knot if you can. Heading, course, and direction should be within 1 degree if possible. Distance to the nearest 1/10 of a nautical mile. And remember time to the nearest minute, and write it all down. So if or when you lose all your electronics, you know where you are, you know where you're going, and you can estimate your position. One last thing, remember your compass conversions. Since we're doing everything in true north on the chart, we can't steer our boat true north. We have to steer it from our compass, so we have to convert from true to compass and sometimes compass back to true. True north, T. Add west, subtract east of our variation to get our magnetic. We go to our deviation tables, add west, subtract east to get our compass reading. And going from compass to true, remember we start with our ship's compass. We look at our deviation tables based on our ship's heading, subtract west, add east to get magnetic. And from magnetic to true, we subtract west and add east variation. And variation you can always find on the chart in the center of your compass rose. And remember, the prudent mariner will not rely solely on any single aid to navigation or any single piece of information to determine their location.